Well, hello random YouTube people. Today we're going to be replacing this older faucet with this new Moen faucet. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned.
Subscribe.
Let's jump right in. First, under the sink, we're going to need to locate the hot and cold water inlets. This one here is for cold and this one is for hot. And the reason why we know this is the hot is because it's also coming off and going into the dishwasher on the left-hand side. So we need to make sure we turn these righty-tighty so that no more water is coming out of the system. Once we've done that, we can even test it, turning it on cold water, turning it on hot water, and no water is coming out of the faucet at the moment. Now up under the sink, you can see this is where the faucet is coming in. And let's see if I can turn the light on. I've never seen a faucet connection like this. It's being held up by these two clamps right here. And these are the other ports where if you were to have a hot and cold water faucet, these would be the entries for the hot and water taps that you can turn with your hands. We've also got a soap dispenser over here. But I have never seen one like this. It's going to take a second for me to figure out what to do. So with the faucet with that weird style connection that you can't just take off with a basin wrench, these have a design where there is a little screw, an Allen wrench screw on the back side. And so we will need to take an Allen wrench to undo that bolt, and then this top assembly should pull off. And then we can get access to the other side to take off the screws. So that looks to be about a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench that we need. So let's go ahead and start to loosen it. Looks like we only have one, but it'd probably be a good idea to put these little drain covers on it, just in case you get this little bolt comes loose and goes flying. And that bolt. There we go. I'm going to put this off to the side so I don't lose it. And there's only one bolt, so this should start to lift free. There we go. And there's the top part of the screws right here. It's another Allen wrench. So that's how we get those weird bolts undone from the top side down. Let's figure out what size Allen wrench we need for these bolts. And this one looks to be about a 4 millimeter. So let's go ahead and unspin these, and wow, those came really loose pretty quickly. So this is going to be that big, huge, long silver bolt's going to come all the way up to the top. We have to take that little black end off of it so it can come up all the way through. You can see this whole section is now starting to lift off. More and more every time. Let's go take a peek underneath and see what it looks like now. So those have started to loose, and these are the bolts that we're taking out right now. You can see they go all the way up. Oh, and you can see all that stuff coming off. It's a good reminder that you should probably wear some kind of glasses while you're under here. I'm getting stuff in my eyes. But those are going to come all the way off, and we're going to probably need to pop off these little black things on the end to get them all the way out. But then once those are released, then the whole section should be free. And then we'll have to disconnect the cords, these ones. So from the top side, I'm just going to continue to pull and unscrew these bolts. On this side now. Oh, see, that's what I mean. Good thing I put that thing there, right? These little black pieces are like the bane of my existence right now. Not sure exactly how to get them off.
So after much trial and error with these, I figured out how these are supposed to work. I make the mistake so you don't have to. So you're going to tighten this bolt all the way till the black piece touches this little A bracket. And then you're going to hammer from the other side so it pushes the whole section down. And then it will rotate and spin to be able to be clear of the hole. Let me show you that.
At least I'm up and out beyond the hole now. I was able to get one of them to detach. I think it's because it's spun around. Let me get you a look at this. So it looks like once it got up to a certain point, that this piece was able to spin free the other direction. Even though it didn't take the black cap off, this piece would spin free and allow it to come up through the hole. So now that these are up through the hole, I don't have anything else to worry about really. Now it's time to take apart this faucet and get these hoses detached. So it looks like we're actually going to have to detach these cords, or these pipes, these lines, from where they connect to the hot and cold water inlets. Right here and right here.
And remember, we've already turned off the water. We just now need to disconnect the actual hose itself from the valve.
Starting with the cold. And now for the hot. This one's going to be harder because this line is a little bit more loosey-goosey. Need to put something down to catch this water so we don't make a mess. Actually, that was the cold water, so I can grab this cold water line and just pull it up out of the way now. Have it drip down into the sink. Onto the hot. I wrenched this one's free off camera just because this one's so difficult to get to. And because this twists so much. I can pull that up out of the way. Now this final piece here that's going down is connected to this big huge weight. So in order to get this up out of here, we have to take those screws you can see off this weight in order for it to be pulled through the sink. So let's get a screwdriver and get this big weight off so we can pull the whole assembly out of here. I'm going to do this part off camera just because I can't get a camera angle in here with the tripod and my hands in here all at the same time. So you're just going to see that I'm going to unscrew this here and on the other side, and it should come free. So it's just loosening one screw and this whole thing will just slide off like that. As you can see here, it sits in there, and then this just kind of pinches and pushes some pressure on the cable so it doesn't slip away. Now this whole assembly will pull free. There we go. And that's the old faucet. Find somewhere to put this.
And finally, on to installing the new faucet.
Now it's time to get this thing all assembled. You can see we have the main faucet, we have this weight for this one's system. We have this little bar that's going to cover the holes that we need to. Because if you'll remember, this one has the 3-hole setup where sometimes this is the cold water and this is the hot water, and then there's the faucet in the middle. Well, in this case, it was covered because there was one. So this is going to do our little cover piece for the sink. But we need to probably clean this up a little bit before we put the new one on. Looks like she had some Clorox wipes, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up. Looks like this new cap fills the area, so we don't see much of that hard water staining. It's going to look good. So now we're going to take the new faucet, and I'm going to leave this little plastic over it for as long as I can. And you can see the hot and cold lines are already attached to this. And all we need to do is add our little weight. And then we have the better assembly system where we have a little collar piece that we tighten with our basin wrench. Now let's go get the other weight assembly and get this part figured out too. So this is the cable for the weighted part. This piece that's got the shiny part on it is actually going to connect to the new sprayer. And that's all going to run down through this little hook part and then into this assembly here and come out the bottom.
First, twist off the little blue cap.
So that faucet sprayer end connects to the hose, and we need to run this hose down
Into the main faucet assembly. So just pushing that pipe down the curved section, and I'm pushing it down the shorter part of the curved section because that other end is going to be where the sprayer is, and now on the other end is popping out where it needs to go into that main faucet section. Finish running that cord all the way through this first part that has the little hook in it so that the faucet sprayer is flush. And then we're going to continue pushing the line down the main part of this faucet housing so that we can start putting it down the main hole. Now just pushing all pipes, hot and cold, in the main line down this little hole. Now you'll notice that this isn't going to stay here. It's because we need to fasten it from the other side. So we need to go get the nut and the little wrench in order to tighten this on so it doesn't move.
We're going to go and hook up the hot water first because this thing won't stop leaking.
So just tightening on this new hot water line from our new faucet so that this leaking can stop and I can not have this big mess under the sink.
These pipes were not cool colored like the other ones, so you're going to want to make sure you know which one's the hot. So this one's labeled hot. I actually put the cold on the hot and I had to take it off, but now it's all hooked up. Put the cold to the cold and the hot to the hot. It's all been wrenched down, hand tight. You don't want to go too tight so you don't damage anything. But now the last thing we need to do is hook this thing up. It should connect right there.
Of course, before we connect this main water line, we are going to need to put that counterweight on it.
So before we attach this piece to here, we need to run this up through it because that's going to attach to the faucet and that big red orange thing. So it's got to go on here before you attach it to this. To actually attach the faucet, we're going to use this little C-hook thing.
Also referred to as the Eye of Sauron from Barad-dûr.
And this is going to run through that really orange colored pipe, the main pipe. We're going to run that up through the middle. And then we're going to make sure that the hot and cold lines go on the other side of these things. And then you use this to wrench down on the pipe that comes through this hole right here. See if you can make it make sense. You can use this provided wrench as well to tighten. So we're going to want to grab this piece first because that goes on, and then the black piece. So we're going to put this on and wrench it on, and then put this on and hand tighten it. Makes sense? And then one of these sides is fatter than the other, and that's going to be the side that tightens this bolt. And so this is going to squeeze everything together. And I'm probably going to have to do this off camera and show you what I did because it's going to be really difficult to get this on video and under the sink here. All right, with this wrench threaded up, I sat here and I tightened it all the way up to the top. And I got it really tight and made sure that the faucet on the other side was lined up. So it looks nice. This particular sink is a little bit flimsy, so that this is a little bit flimsy too, just by nature of the sink being a little flimsy. But it's starting to look good. Next, we put on that plastic nut, run it all the way up and tighten it, hand tight. Now for the weight. This one just clips on like that. It doesn't have a screw at all. So we're just going to put this on the hose and clamp it shut. And I'll show you where to put it. This little piece in the middle should be able to be removed because it's going to clamp over the hose like that. That's just a temporary piece. On our hose, you will see a weight line indicator. That's right here. So we're just going to put the clamp pretty much right on that. We can always adjust it and move it if we need to and get a better angle. You just sit and squeeze and it'll clamp on. There we go. And that weight pulls this down like that. So if we need to, we can adjust it lower or higher depending on how far away from the sink we want that spray head to be able to go. But here's that weight. This one is super simple to clamp on compared to the other one. And the last thing we need to do is attach this to this right there. Don't waste your time like I just did and actually take this little cap piece off first before you try to put it in the hole. Don't shove something in the hole. It's too big for it. That's what she said. So finally, let's turn the water back on. Lefty loosey. This one's a pain, huh? Let's start with the cold. There we go. I'm gonna open it all the way up. And then the hot is finicky because it twists so much. So I may have to do this off camera, at least get it started off camera. There we go. So open it all the way up. So far I'm not seeing any leaking yet. Hopefully I never will. And let's go test out our faucet. Alrighty. So this should be on. There we go. I'm guessing this way is hot and this way is cold. So that's on and cold. Yep. So on this one, hot is up and cold is down. I don't know if I like that design, but I guess you could always leave it shut like this. And so this is always cold, and then this is always hot. There we go. Let's test out the spray head on cold, of course. So we hit that, you can hear that weight stop it. So if I wanted it to go further than this, I could move the position of the weight, but that's pretty good. And if I push on this, different styles, this should stop it. Nope, it doesn't. I'm not actually sure what that does. Hope it popped out when I turned the water off. Not sure what that's supposed to do. It increases the water pressure. Did you hear that? All right. You listening? Yep. So that increases the water pressure.
Well, that's nifty. New kitchen faucet installed.
And that, random YouTube people, is just how easy it is to replace the kitchen faucet in your kitchen sink. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to like this video, leave a comment, share it with all of your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe.